is Bold TV.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another segment of Bold Hearts TV, beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities. And today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic, fuel scarcity and its effect on persons with disabilities. But before we delve into that, Bold Heart TV comes to you every Saturday, and you can donate to Bold Heart TV by reaching out to any of the admins and also contribute to our discussion. If there's any topic you'd like us to talk about, if there's any issue you'd like us to address, you can reach out to me, Constance, you can reach out to Afyong, you can reach out to Freki. If you would also like to donate, you can also reach out to these three names I've just called out. Now, to the main topic for today, I would like my guests and my co-hosts to introduce themselves, but I'll go first. My name is Constance Neka. I reside in Abuja, and I'm a lady with albinism. I'm the founder and executive director of Women and Girls with Albinism Network. Thank you. Over to you, Afyong.
Okay, good morning, beautiful people. We're here again. My name is Afyong Etun. I'm a medical lab scientist. I live and work in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. I'm a member of Bold Hearts Initiative and also a co-host on Bold TV. Good to be here. I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury.
Thank you very much, Afyong. Good to have you here. Abilikisu, please kindly introduce yourself. Thank you.
All right. Good morning. It's good to be on Bold TV. My name is Yakubu Belkisu. I reside in Abuja, and I'm a woman with disability. I am also the National Coordinator Advocacy for Women with Disability Initiatives. It's good to be on Bold TV again.
Thank you very much, Bilikisu. It's great to have you here with us. Frank, you kindly introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Bold TV. My name is Freki Andrew Essien, one of the co-hosts of this amazing program powered by Bold Hearts Initiative. I am the executive director of Faith Care Foundation. I'm based in Port Harcourt in the River State. I'm a public health practitioner, also member of Bold Hearts Initiative. I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury. That's what's up. Welcome.
Thank you, Bubbly Freki. It's good to have you here. And Peace Aniefio, kindly introduce yourself.
The Vice President of Albinism, and I'm happy. My name is Peace Aniefio. I represent Albinism in Akwa Ibom.
I think Peace is having some problems with her network. Thank you very much, Peace. It's good to have you here on this episode. And now to the topic for discuss, fuel scarcity. And I know that it's something we're all experiencing right now, the cost of fuel and its scarcity. It is expensive and it is not within reach. But then the major concern is this new trend. How does it affect persons with disabilities? Because like we all know, persons with disabilities face discriminations, they face inaccessibility to services, to facilities. And now with this new issue on ground, we would like to know, how does this affect persons with disabilities? Does it even affect persons with disabilities at all? And that is why, and that is what we're going to talk about today. So my first question goes to Afyong. This fuel scarcity, how do you think it affects the mobility and independence of persons with disabilities, or women with disabilities in particular?
Okay, thank you. I would like to talk about it from the angle of the financial burden it places. Disability, is an expensive experience. It's an expensive lifestyle. That's what most people don't realize. Living with a disability, whether you like it or not, places a burden of, extra expense on you. So when in situations like this, many persons with disabilities, women with disabilities, were already having difficulty getting around. For example, for me, as a person who uses a wheelchair, it's often difficult for me to move around freely, because when I think about how expensive it is to be able to get from one place to another, it can be a problem. Number one, if I'm going to maybe say somewhere nearby, I can't use a keke. I would most likely have to get a taxi. And when you think about the disparity in price, maybe a keke would take 100 naira. If I'm getting a taxi for myself, unless I can get to where by the roadside where I can stop a general taxi, but if I'm getting chartering a taxi, I would have to pay maybe anything from 2,000 naira upwards. So you can see that disparity in price. So it's very expensive, and then with the fuel price increase, cost of transportation has gone up. Cost of transportation has gone up, and for those who are, especially for those with physical impairment, mobility impairment, it can be difficult accessing, cheaper forms of transportation, because you will have to look for forms of transportation that are accessible for me, for you, and also make comfortable to get you to where you need to go to. So the extra expense can be quite a problem.
Thank you very much, Afyong. You just made a very, very important point. The financial constraint on fuel scarcity, as it affects persons with women with disabilities, is on the high side. Like she said, when she has to think about moving from one point to another with her mobility aid, it costs more. Freki, I would like you to also, throw more light on this. How do you think fuel scarcity affects women with disabilities and their independence? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Constance. I'm sure this is a no-brainer, because when you consider the fact that mobility or moving from point A to point B is crucial for anyone, and the mode of transportation is influenced by fuel, because we're using vehicles to transport ourselves from place to place, whether public transport or your personal car, it weighs down persons with disabilities. Like Afyong rightly said, most persons with disabilities, especially those who are mobility impaired, if they have to access public transportation, they may not be able to do the jumping into buses per bus stop, which is a trend, or how we transport ourselves over here, where you go from one stop to the next and to the next. So the next, or most times, the possible option is to do a car hire or a car service. And then that is always naturally more expensive. And with the fuel scarcity, it even is more increased. So for those of us who are even buying the fuel our cars, it's really, really difficult, because it affects the amount of money you have. So it has a direct and indirect effect. So while you probably you had a monthly expenditure or budget for fuel for a certain amount, you can't pack up bed generator now. You can't even try it, because that means you're not ready to move the car from point A to point B. I remember a particular day, I had driven my car, the sign had shown me empty for days. So I was like, advise yourself, this car will stop on the road, and you will have to call somebody to come and rescue you. So because I had driven and finished all the reserve, I entered the filling station, and I decided to buy little fuel to just get me somewhere. Man, the lights didn't move, it didn't shake. I didn't know whether I should I was like, whatever, and put fuel, let me find a way to get somewhere. It's that bad. So it affects you directly, and a lot of times you want to move, you ask yourself, this movement is important. So it really affects our mobility. You have to question it all. You don't just get up and move like this before. You have to question it a lot of things. and it affects. Imagine if you have to be transporting yourself from your feeding money. So it has all-round effects, on persons with disabilities, even more women. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frankie. I was able to pick you some things you said that affects women with disabilities both directly and indirectly. And I love the illustration you gave using yourself as an example. And I think that's something a lot of women with disabilities can relate with, because I'm sure that a lot of them are going through this fuel scarcity crisis, just like every other person, but it hits harder, especially as a person with disability. Now, Bilikisu, I would like you to also, throw more light on this, give us your own opinion on this, and also tell us the health challenges that this fuel scarcity poses for women with disabilities. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. My two sisters have already started the whole thing. The challenges of fuel scarcity is so alarming. Like me, the work I do, every day I get calls from women with disabilities saying that, oh God, I don't know what to do today. In fact, it has a psychological effect on their well-being. And also, the fuel scarcity, the challenges of fuel scarcity has already created another form of disability to these women. The fact that we have a disability, the challenges of fuel scarcity is causing another form of disability. It has already taken a whole lot of things away from them. So it's affecting them emotionally and psychologically. And the challenges is so numerous that even the health challenges is so numerous. In fact, because you want to really go out and there's a place you need to go, but because there's a whole lot of things, you need to calculate your movement. Now you need to really calculate your movement. If I go here, how much will it take me here? So you see, it causes a lot of psychological, challenges and even emotional challenges, because the person will start thinking, and which manner irreversibly affects their health, bringing out a whole lot of ill health. Even at times, even if you're not sick, you see someone calling me and says, I don't even know what is wrong with me. I've been treating malaria for long. And then when you tell the person, go to the hospital, you say, do you know how will I go to the hospital? I can't even afford to go to the hospital. Or even if I get to the hospital, how will I even even if I was given the drugs, how will I even buy the drugs? So it has a ripple effect on the health challenge of persons with disability, because there are people with disability, especially women, who are asthmatic in nature. So imagine now you have to calculate getting your drugs, also calculating going to the hospital, and then the challenges and the stress you go through. Do you understand? So it has a whole lot of effect on persons with disability. Thank you so much.
Very much, Bilikis. That was quite insightful. You talked about the medical part of it and the health challenges that comes with fuel scarcity, not being able to easily access healthcare, and you don't want to go to the hospital because you begin to think of how you're even going to transport yourself down to the hospital because there's fuel scarcity. And I also think that for me, as a person with albinism, it has exposed me to long distance trekking. When you have to trek and trek and trek under the sun, and when it comes to albinism, you do not have to be under the sun from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. But I think with the climate change issue now, where the sun comes out by 7 a.m. and it's very hot, you just have to keep trekking, and it has led to an increase in sunburn. It has led to an increase in skin cancer issues. It has also led to an increase in people having accidents when there's fuel scarcity. And as a person with albinism, you have to trek and it's nightfall. You don't see where you are putting your right leg in front of your left leg. So sometimes you have these road accidents. And this is as a result of fuel scarcity, not being able to get a vehicle that will take you from point A to point B. I I don't know if Peace is on this call. Peace, I would like you to also make a contribution.
Constance, can I say something before Peace comes on? Okay, I had my hand up. Okay, so I just wanted to add to the fact that you mentioned how it affects independence. We talked about how it affects mobility. It contributes to further isolation and accessibility, because due to the expense involved, many times many persons with disability may not be able to attend in functions or have opportunities to interact with other people because they are not able to even get to where these events are happening. And so opportunities will be lost, and this will further disenfranchise and increase the disadvantage that persons with disabilities face, not to talk of the isolation and its impact on their mental health.
Beautiful contribution, Afyong. And I'll leave the floor open now for Peace Anyefyok from Akwa Ibom State. Peace, please kindly add your voice to this topic. Thank you. Okay, so I think we have to move on. Peace is having issues with her network, and it's a Nigerian thing. So moving on, I would like to ask us, what do you think can be the possible solutions to this problem, this fuel scarcity? What do you think can be the possible solution? So Bilikisu, you have the floor, please. Thank you.
Okay, I can say something. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Oh yes, we can hear you. Welcome, Peace.
Okay, maybe the possible solution to this, maybe I could just say the government. I could just say the government can come in here, how they can make the transportation more available for persons with disability. In the high cost of this transportation, they can make a vehicle, maybe they try in seeing how they can reduce the prices for person with disability. Maybe if a distance could be maybe like 500 naira, maybe for person with disability, they can reduce it to 200 naira because it's really high, from the disability persons. So that is what I can just contribute for the thing for now.
Thank you very much, Peace. Bilikisu, over to you. You have the floor.
Okay, just like what P said, I think I agree with her. Working with the government will be an easy way to see if we can go pay in our respective state where we reside. There's a way we can write a letter, advocacy letter to the Ministry of Transport and Commerce to see if there's any intervention or opportunity that can be put on ground to help persons with disability make ease their transportation issue. Another thought that occurred to me is that we can also work with the commercial driver. We have the Road Union Association. We can as well take an advocacy visit to them to discuss with them the challenges of what persons with disability faces when trying to access transportation. Not only person with physical mobility, we have different clusters of persons with disability. So we need to make them understand that, okay, we have various clusters of persons with disability and these are various challenges. So we can work with them as an organization of persons with disability to see also on how they can help support and help ease our transportation movement, because that is a very, very strong union where we can easily get something done when you pay a visit. Yeah, we can rely on government, but you know how issue of bureaucracy is, where everything is very rigid. You pay advocacy to the governor, you hear the commissioner is not around, or the minister is not there, the director of the PAMSEC is not there. But we can also take the whole bull into, take the bull into our hand, try to visit Road Transport Workers Association to see how we can relate with them, talk to them, and see how they can make the issue of transportation to be flexible to persons with disability, irrespective of where they are, community, or even the city, anywhere they are, we can work with them to make the transportation easy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Biliki. So I think we have someone just joined us. Rukaya, if you can hear me, please kindly unmute and lend your voice to this discussion. We're talking about fuel scarcity and its effect on persons with disabilities, and we're trying to proffer solutions to this problem. So if you can hear me, kindly unmute and introduce yourself, then also make your contributions. Thank you.
Hello everyone. All right. I am Rukaya Yahaya Haruna from Kano State, and I am a person with albinism. So the issue of fuel scarcity, I mean, you are asking about the solution, right? What solution we need?
Yes.
All right. I think the government should make provision for persons with disabilities. They should make provision in the sense that we have access to transportation. They should make, like, maybe they should provide buses or cars that will help transport persons with disabilities from one place to another, especially when there is maybe an issue in the state, or let me say the country, like this issue of scarcity crisis. If there are provision of cars or buses that are meant for persons with disabilities, these persons with disabilities will be able to move from one place to another without being in a jeopardy or without being unsafe. They will do everything maybe in a safe place and they will not be hurt if there are these provisions. That's my thinking. Those cars, those buses, they should make them strictly for only persons with disabilities. Maybe there should be maybe since there's technology now and we are in the modern world, there might be maybe an application where if a person with disabilities, wants to go out or something, you can just use your phone and just maybe make arrangements, and maybe even if it is not free, at least it should be accessible. It should not be that cost that we cannot be able to maintain it. This is my own contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rukaya, for that very enlightening contribution. But from what you said, is that the government should make transportation affordable, and persons with disabilities should be able to access transportation using an app. And I think we already have things like that. I think we have Bolt, we have Rider, we have Uber, we have InDrive and all. But these things are no longer cheap. And that's why, aside from us talking to the government, I think we should also spread our solution to incorporate others, other service providers too. So, Afyong, you have the floor.
Okay, so talking about solutions, we've mentioned, I like the cases idea about not just, putting the whole responsibility on government, but, scaling it down to the road transport union workers and other bodies that are capable of contributing. And I'd also, like we've said, advocacy is one of the key tools that we can use to get the kind of resources we need. So I think, at times like this, the organizations that civil service organizations responsible for persons with disabilities can, take advantage of the media, be it social media or the mainstream media, to bring awareness of the peculiar situation of people in their communities to the public, because that's one way to reach a wider audience, bring the awareness to people so that people are aware that, oh, this is what's going on. Yes, it's tough for everybody, but there are a group of people who have it even tougher. So if this awareness can be created, I believe that it would finally, that would even be a more powerful, because even people without disabilities would now take it upon themselves to, help speak up, and even the attention of the government would, be more focused, could be turned towards this, and then more can be done, because there would be a louder voice. It wouldn't just be about persons with disability, because others will now join in creating awareness and advocating for the resources we need. So I think awareness is key. In as much as, because to these people, we need transport too. We need to be able to reach them. But if we are not, I think one thing to do is to create that awareness and advocate for the help we need.
All right. Thank you very much, Afyong. Talked about awareness. CSOs should create more awareness so that the government becomes aware that there are persons with disabilities who also use one form of transportation or the other. We should also reach out to the what are they called again at the level? The
road union workers.
National Union of Road Transport Workers, yes, to take the advocacy to them as well, take it to their doorstep. Frankie, I would like you to wrap this all up. Thank you.
Okay, so with respect to solutions, we've spoken to government, but let me use an instance in Rivers State when the fuel subsidy was removed earlier this year, and there was a hike in fuel prices generally. So something did happen. The government did intervene by providing free buses. Unfortunately, those buses were not accessible to persons with disabilities. So that's an example of preferring a solution that that doesn't consider that not every person with disabilities could jump into the big buses. It was very good initiative, still on. So they are called free buses. So this is what I would say in mitigating the challenges of transportation, whether it's government or whoever, just remember to make it accessible and inclusive for persons with disabilities. I'm not even asking for special transport for persons with disabilities. I'm saying when you're providing it for everyone, please remember that it should be inclusive of persons with disabilities. I'd like to speak to persons with disabilities themselves. We must understand that we're very creative people. I understand that we need to move from point A to point B. But I'll ask you to also find other ways to be able to communicate. I'm sure you heard me in my first statement that sometimes if I need to go somewhere, I ask myself, is there any other way to solve this without me having to go there? So you may want to really get creative about solving transportation issues by finding other creative ways to be able to go out using your phone, using the digital platforms, to be able to host meetings without having to go to the people's offices. You can get to that level where you're able to achieve that, because I've seen persons with disabilities who really cannot leave their house, but they do a lot. So we have to get creative with having to achieve things if transportation is high, so that we don't incur expenses that we cannot cope with. And the third thing I would like to say also is this: some consideration can be done. Service providers, that are outside of transport companies, even transport companies, you can actually do an initiative where you have discounted transportation for persons with disabilities. It could be something that you can take on as a corporate social responsibility at this time. Now, I know that in running a transport business, you want to run a profit business, but it's something that you can consider to do if you're a transport company or you're providing a transport service. Finally, I would say to the disability community that a lot of times when we're speaking about these issues, we speak about it from a place of passion. A group can actually do some research to speak with evidence, so that we have some evidence-based advocacy. Simple research where we just find out how the fuel hiking price is affecting persons with disabilities. It will be a great advocacy tool with data to add to what we're saying, what we know. So the numbers will be speaking. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Frankie, for that beautiful contribution. Thank you, ladies, for your contribution, your suggestion, and for enlightening the public on what is actually going on. I am sure that our listeners and those who are watching us have heard a lot and they have learned a lot. And I'm certain that we will begin to see changes as well. I want to also appeal to the government, because I do not understand why we have different fuel stations having different prices for fuel. You go to one station, you see a different price. You go to the next, you see a different price. Why is there no uniformity? Or why do they allow some fuel stations to create artificial scarcity? So I think the government should begin to sit up and watch what is going on and learn to regulate, because its citizens also comprise of persons with disabilities who also feel the harshness of the economy. Thank you very much for staying tuned with us. Thank you. We remain beautiful and funny ladies with disabilities, and we come your way every Saturday. So keep a date with us. Thank you. You can follow us on all our social media handles, and if you want to donate, kindly reach out to any of the admin. Until we come your way next week Saturday, stay safe. Thank you.
This is Bold TV.